Hello and welcome to the show. I am here today on Modellista, quite possibly the best looking racing game that I have come across. I love the art style in this game. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's something a little bit different and perhaps more impressively, something that has aged incredibly well and something that probably won't ever really age. I mean, I guess it looks a little bit fuzzy being stretched out across on, modern TVs and whatnot, but yeah, because they've gone for the cartoony, the stylized art style. I'm not sure if cell shading is the correct term for quite what this style is, but you get the idea. It doesn't really age in the same way that games like Gran Turismo 4. Gran Turismo 4 has aged very well, don't get me wrong, but you can tell it has aged, whereas something like this, not quite so much. I think it's fantastic. I absolutely love the art style. I also love a lot of the details. There are some things that I don't like quite so much. This game does a lot of things differently. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes it's a bit weird. Let's start with the garage. This is a small feature, but something I would like to see more in games. The garage that you see, in fact, the car in at the moment is customizable. And I don't just mean choosing from various different presets either. While there are sort of presets, I've gone for like a wooden style garage. There are like a concrete one and a big metal garage and so on. What I mean is all of the stuff inside the garage is placeable. Kind of like The Sims, only with a garage. For an example, do we want to add an additional battery into our pile of stuff over here? Sure, possibly. You could also, now I'm not sure if it's going to let me do it with a battery, it might not. Ah, yes, it does. You could also have certain items, place them on top of shelves. You can actually use the shelves as they're intended. Can we put it on top of the toolbox? Yeah, actually can. This sort of customization, I would like to see more of. Most definitely. We can put some tools up on the wall because, of course not. Of course not. Of course. Either way, English isn't doing so well. I've been having a lot of trouble getting my Audacity to work properly. It's been one of those days, I'm afraid. Either way, yeah, the entire garage is customizable. Put stuff around. Now, unfortunately, you can only spawn one of each in. So if you want to have lots of shelves, it's a little bit difficult. However, just having this as an option is great. We've had games like Test Drive kind of had slightly customizable housing, but that's more in the sense of there's a set, or there's sort of 3 presets perhaps that you pick from one of them, whereas this you can completely personalize it. Your garage won't quite be like, it'll use the same bits, but it won't quite necessarily, in fact, there's probably not another garage out there that is like the one that I have built here, and I like that. I like that very much about the game. Now, there is no currency in this. There is no currency whatsoever in this game, which is unusual to deal with, and the progress is a little bit strange as well. I'll explain. There's also a real faff. To kind of do anything about changing cars is a nightmare in itself. You got to go through about 10 loading and saving screens. Also, this thing here is not fun to use. So you can name your cars. I've called the RX-8 I have here Buzzbox. However, to do any of typing, you've got to scroll through this little thing and then you select the character. It's very odd. Very counterintuitive for a while, and it'll make your brain hurt for a little bit. It does get better, but only slightly. I don't really like it. Yeah, you have to go through this every time you want to save a car. Every time you want to change cars, there's a lot of saving and menu screens to get through until we get to the till we get to the car list. Come on, game. Come on, game. We can do it. Right. Here we go. So, your selection of vehicles are pretty much 90s Japanese sports cars and some classic vehicles thrown in for good luck. Now, I say mostly 90s, a few early 2000s as well. Apparently, there is an American version of this game that does include things like, I think, Ford GT, the Viper, the Ford Mustang, and that kind of car. Now, I'm in England. I have an English PS2, my girlfriend's old one, and the version of the game that I can get hold of over here is the European version, I assume the Japanese version, if you like. So we don't have the American cars. There are some secret cars. I don't know what they are going to be. But yeah, your vehicles are kind of stuff that you would be expecting. Now, there are some cool inclusions things like the GTO in there, for example. We've also got the Nissan, but you've got all of your various Skylines, as you would expect, 350Z. You also have the 300ZX, which is cool to see, and various other vehicles. There are some classic cars that are all locked vehicles that I haven't got to yet. However, the rest of these cars I can get straight from the off. If I want to get an R33 Skyline, we can go for that. If I want to start with these particular cars, you can just grab them straight. I can go for a Honda NSX as the first car I use in the game. Or we can go for the very fast, I presume it's very fast in here, the Tommy Kyra car. It's a little bit of a strange way of doing things, giving you access to all of the fast cars immediately. Yeah, there are some secret cars, but they look more sort of classic vehicles than anything else. So the first few races you can make very easy for yourself if you just go and grab an NSX, for example. It's good for me as someone who wants to just sort of mess around with the game from time to time, but yeah, that's a lot of freedom. Some people will like it, some people won't. And now, to the upgrading of the vehicles. The first thing I would like to say is the terminology is excellent. So you've got easy tune-up, which is like quick upgrade. Tune-up, which is for your mechanical, engine upgrades, brakes, tyres, etc. Dress up is for your cosmetic stuff. And I think this should be the terminology from now on in all racing games. When it comes to visual customization, it should be called dress up. It's just fantastic. Let's go into here. Now, there are pretty much two options in every category. So, for example, for designs, you can have the normal design, or you can generally have two slight variations on racing stripes. A couple of cars do have slightly different livery. Most of the time, the designs are just racing stripes. There will be two different bonnets for the vehicles. So we can have either vents at the top, or we can have little bonnet pins. We'll go for some vents. The RX-8's probably not going to have any real kits on it, because at this time it was a concept. So they haven't got... Oh, they have got some. I guess, well, these would probably be nicked off of another car. They're not specific. Yeah, they're probably going to be non-specific body kits on it. And I will say that while when I've been streaming, we've been messing around with some classic games, I've been tending to make try and see just how hideous cars we could make. Actually very difficult too on this game. The actual kits that they have chosen are actually all pretty nice. They're actually all pretty good kits for the cars. There is an RX-7 with a hideous front bumper, but aside from that, it is quite difficult to make cars hideous. We can have a mighty wing on our RX-8, so that's good. Can we do anything fun with the headlights? Oh, we can make it look slightly sleepy, or we can put some tape on it, I think. Not a huge amount. I think we'll make it slightly sleepy. We'll have slightly sleepy RX-8. There is also plenty of wheels to choose from. Interestingly, they've got some actual like manufacturer-specific wheels. So you can have Subaru wheels, you can have Rally Art wheels, there are Mazda Speed wheels specifically. And then there's your kind of more usual selection of wheels. Now, 108 does look like quite a lot, although that is including like different colours of wheels being counted in all of that. So the two Mazda Speed wheels, for example. So, yeah, I mean, there's an okay selection of customization in here. It's not the most advanced I've ever seen in a game, but certainly not too shabby. You can paint your car into different colours, you can paint it all, or you can paint specific areas. The most impressive thing with all of the paint shop, though, is the stickers. Now, when I saw this option, I was fully expecting this to be a case of, well, like the vinyl editor that you get in Forza, various pre-made stickers that you go and stick on the side of your car. I was wrong. Instead, what happens when you go into here is you get Microsoft Paint. Just full Microsoft Paint for you to play around with. Now, I am not artistically inclined. I say Microsoft Paint is also more of an Etch-a-Sketch as well, because you can kind of only do that sort of stuff. But I have no doubt, I mean, I've seen what people can do on Etch-a-Sketches. Now, I'm no good with the arts, but if you were, this is a lot of freedom to play around with. Again, in a game of this age, this is a lot of freedom. And we haven't really seen, while of course Forza's paint shop is excellent, we've not really seen a paint booth like this one, well, since. So, yeah, again, interesting. Everything's just done differently in here. Some of it, like this, works. Oh, it doesn't work for me because I'm terrible. The way it's saved cars is very weird, and the currency and progression, or the lack of... it seems a little odd. Maybe that's just a little bit odd today, if you like. But, yeah. Overall, interesting and different. Again, the upgrades for the car kind of mechanically now. This stuff, I have been, I've done a few races. I've got through the career a little bit. So some of this stuff is locked to begin with. You have to get far enough through. You can actually choose your manufacturer. I don't think it makes any difference to the vehicle's actual performance, but if you have a particular manufacturer you want to support to use, then there you go. When it comes to suspension, you can choose what sort. I tend to go with medium just because I'm not sure where I'm going to be running the car at any given time. I can't put a turbo on the Mazda. That's a shame. The exhaust gives us not a huge amount of power. The ECU doesn't really give us any power. However, the engine upgrade down here should give us 342 PS. I do also tend to stick all of my cars with max speed gearbox. The reason being is that cars in this game accelerate insanely fast. Like, one of the Subarus I have in this does 0 to 60 in sub 2 seconds with about 450 horsepower, and then runs out of speed at about 250 kilometers an hour, whatever that is in miles. They act a little bit peculiar. They act a little bit peculiar in terms of performance, and in some ways in terms of handling as well. Perhaps this game looks a bit better than it drives at points, but... yeah, so there we go. I got a fully modified, or as fully modified as I can make the RX-8. That means it is time to be going racing. Oh, I also do believe that this secret down here might be something to do with engine swaps, although I'm not 100% sure on that. Somebody told me when I was streaming this that was to do with swapping engines into cars. I'm not sure, though, if that is the case or not, because I've not got far enough through the game. Now, RX-8 is probably not going to be fast enough to compete at the level 4 events. My Subaru is, but that Subaru is very, very fast. We'll go back to level 3. Now, there isn't a huge track list in this game. I'm going to be honest, there isn't a huge track list. There is one real-world circuit. There is Suzuka. There is like a cartoony, stylized Suzuka in here, which is really cool to see. Really cool indeed to see. There's probably 10, 12 circuits overall. A couple of them are like just Tokyo highways in a square, which are... I mean, the technically circuits, I don't really count that. There are, though, as we are going to go to here, some really cool little mountain roads. If you like a point-to-point race, there is uphill and downhill versions, or you can run them in both directions in the events. Right, is this car going to be competitive? I don't know if this is going to be good as a level 3 car or not. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed it is. Oh. Going to be. It would help if I didn't clonk into the wall, though. That might have scuppered my chances here of winning the race. So once we get everything into motion, yeah, it continues to be a very good-looking, a very good-looking game. They've gone with an art style, and I think it really works for these events. Yet the stylized Suzuka is very good. This circuit looks fantastic. The little... I don't even know what to call it. Like the kind of tyre smoke coming off through the corners is, it's all exaggerated, but kind of cool. The other thing, while this car here isn't apparently going to do it, when the cars backfire, it fills the screen with the kind of the flash from the backfire. It's quite impressive, to say the least. But, yeah, it's all a little bit over the top, but it looks very, very pretty. It looks very pretty indeed. Car handling is not the worst I have driven. It's not the worst I've driven in a classic game. Not by any measure. It is a little bit peculiar, that is to say the least. They kind of drive... Oh, I've carried too much speed into there. Yeah, they kind of drive... I don't even know how to describe the way this car drives. The turning is quite unresponsive in everything. The turning... The front end doesn't really do a huge amount. However, you can still carry an okay amount. It's very weird. Everything drives like this in the game. Like everything, I say everything handles the same. I'm not sure that's quite correct, but everything has this same sort of very understeery feel for a little while, and then suddenly a lot of grip. The AIs are mean. The AIs are very mean indeed. Oh, we might actually just sneak a second here by being quicker than everything in a straight line. I'll take that. You kind of saw, I wasn't really involved in the battle in this one, but you kind of saw the way the AIs were behaving with one another. They like to bump around. They don't really pay any attention to where you are, and the collisions between cars are very weird. Cars will go at strange angles and ping about in odd manners, and yeah. It's not the greatest of... Apparently, that was a new fastest time on that mountain, despite the fact that I came second. I have a feeling that I think it was a Subaru that won might have a word about that. There is also a full replay theatre, and you can save replays as well. In fact, actually, the replays are fairly advanced in that there are a bunch of different options that you can change to. You can get rid of menus and so on. You can change the cars that it's focusing on. Me stuffing it into the wall immediately. Again, for a game this old, having all of these options. Oh, we can actually speed up time as well if we want to get back to when we actually started racing other cars. Does strange things to the sound, but there we go. So, yeah, there's a lot of little things. There are a lot of little things to be doing. So, from all of that, we've unlocked a new poster. For the for the garage. Shall we go? Sure, we'll go rainy street challenge. See if we can do a little bit better. Aside from the collision with the AIs being a little bit wonky, I did find collisions with the walls at times can get cars stuck. I had a Subaru that kind of got itself beached in the side of a wall until it eventually pinged out, and a couple of other cars as well have had odd issues with the collisions. On the most part, it's not too bad. The handling will take some getting used to. That much is for sure. Now, bear in mind, this race here is a lot longer straight for us to deal with here. So we might have a chance to see what this car can do in terms of top speed. Top speed of the cars don't seem to be great. We do have this kind of weather effect going on here. I'm not actually sure it makes a blind bit of difference to the surface, but it looks cool at least. The rain effect looks cool. No, Mazda 6, please don't come fighting back. Please don't come fighting back. Well, I guess we'll go and find Slipstream. Slipstream does seem to be quite powerful in this, from what I have experienced. Oh god, this is as fully maxed out as I can make this car, and we're out at 180 kilometers an hour. Now, I feel like that's... I guess, again, this was a concept car, so they probably didn't... I don't know what engine they had in the concept of this, but this feels a little bit... Considering I think the RX-8's actual top speed is about 140 miles an hour, this feels a little bit strange, but there we go. Around here, of course, being more of a usual circuit, not quite the same tight, nasty corners for us to deal with. I'm actually really surprised how much this RX-8 is struggling here. I mean, I'm not probably driving it amazingly around this circuit. I'm not really sure quite what I can and can't do with this car. I guess if we could get some nice slipstream down the back straight, we might be able to work our way slightly further up. Oh, we get to MX-5 as well. Oh, nice fire. I tried my best to get up the inside of the MX-5. Some cars seem significantly stronger than others. That much I will say. The Subaru, definitely one of the cars to go for. It was absurd. Unbelievably fast was the Subaru. The RX-8 here, I am slightly disappointed in. I was expecting more from this. I was expecting more from the RX-8, but there we go. Nope, fifth gear's not going to work through there. I should be being, I think, more aggressive through these corners. I don't think it's going to quite be flat out, but... oh, well, I think maybe I could have been through that turn if there wasn't a certain... Mazda. Oh no, he's going to push me. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Keep pushing. I'll take a fourth. Yep, okay. Okay, that RX-8 is not quite working here. I thought it would be competitive in that particular league, but apparently, or that particular segment, but apparently the answer is very, very much no. Right, Subaru time it is. we'll grab that to finish off this video. Oh, we've got another poster unlocked. I think when you complete the levels is when you start unlocking the secret cars. I think we got a couple as it was going through previous. Now we go through 20 different loading screens to get a car out. Right, we want to go and get the poobaru. There we go. Oh, no, wait, hold on. Is this saving my car, or is this... I don't actually know if that's saving or selecting. I very nearly saved over the poobaru. That could have gone quite badly. Park this car in storage, yes. Okay, so this is this car that we're doing. Park that over... Oh, God. Park that over Buzzbox. Don't save it over poobaru, otherwise I'll be sad. Parked in storage, save that to... Yes, we will cycle through all of this. It's the thing. It is very much a thing that you have to do. Now, let me select the new car to get into. Poobaru, come back. There we go. Perfect. And this thing is very fast. This thing says it has 400 and something PS, which is it's similar between PS and horsepower. It's not quite exactly the same, but fairly similar. Yet it accelerates like it has about 1,000 horsepower. It's mad. Absolutely bonkers, this car. So if we go, let's go back to level 3. Because I didn't manage to win this one, and this is a very pretty course, let's head back here with our Subaru. Now, we should be able to decimate the opposition. I do think the opposition cars, to an extent, drive to your pace. They won't keep up if you have a stupidly OP car, but I think you do get a little bit of a lead. There doesn't seem to be catch-up. From what I have witnessed so far in this race, they seem to have not gone with a catch-up mechanic. Certainly, if there is a catch-up mechanic, I haven't really seen it play too much of a part. Right, so that's us off the line. Oh, the AI have got a Subaru as well. God damn it. I don't know how heavily upgraded that one is. Now you will see the amazing amounts of fire out of the back of this car. Oh, God. Okay, maybe it's just this Subaru is stupidly OP. I haven't seen the AI drive one of these before, and apparently they are quite fast in that as well. I likened the exhaust in this when streaming to a cannon. It really does feel like there is a cannon coming out of the back of our car every time we I kind of let off the throttle. There we go. Gloriously over the top. Yeah, the Subaru is... This is obviously one of the cars to have. I would recommend it. I think it is certainly the cars I have experimented with. This is the one to go for. Definitely the one to go for. I've tried the NSX, and this is faster. This is faster than the NSX. The NSX is good handling, but this thing is pretty damn good through the corners, and then so ferocious in the acceleration. It does get, like, this sort of stage, it's so busy in a car like this. I can only imagine when this gets, I mean, this is, again, upgraded as much as I can at this moment, but there are higher levels of engine. I can only imagine the late game stuff in this, just how horrendously fast some of the cars are going to be getting. Because this sort of course, this is a lot of speed to be taking. There we go, around another hairpin. There's just no time to think. There really is no time to think. I like that there is this sort of road, though. You know, it's a challenge to drive up. I ideally would like to see more kind of normal circuits, but again, game this old. This is what you have to play around with. Oh, I would love to see a modern version, a modern take on this. Hell, on this sort of art style for a racing game would be really, really very, very cool. And that's going to be a run to the line. I think that's the finish line. There we go, 2:05. I'm not sure that's quicker than the last time I ran up here. Also, the brakes are apparently phenomenal after it crosses the finish line. Is that... Oh, I think that might be quicker for the Poobaru than we ran up before. No, okay, it's just replacing... Okay, so it doesn't fill up the leaderboard with all the same car. It's just replaced the time that we did before. So there we go. That's a look at... Auto Modellista. If you can get your hands on a copy of this, if you've got a PS2 lying around, I do really recommend it. Primarily because it is just such a beautiful, beautiful game. Driving-wise isn't the most amazing thing in existence, but it certainly isn't terrible. Like, it's not enough to put me off from playing this one, and the ability to customize your garage, while the car customization isn't as expansive as some, you can still make some very, very nice looking cars. I'd love to see a modern version of this. I really would love to see a modern version of this. Would be incredible. But we do still have this to go and play for probably not very much money. I think I paid £1.50 for this game. Might have been up to about £3. I can't remember exactly. You can find a copy. I got it from CEX. You can find a copy of it around. It is definitely worth a try, just for something a little bit different. God, the backfires from this car are impressive. Even more impressive, I think, in replays. It's ridiculous. Anyway, that is going to be... Also, the speed is ridiculous as well, I'd like to point out. That's going to be it for this video, though. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.